Good afternoon. This video appeared spontaneously. I decided to deal with the problem with the black levels in the DV test files. Why Shield TV outputs levels in both 5 and 8 profiles down to the bottom of the range, while others, except still Apple TV, cannot do so. I have already suggested in Telegram chat the theory that it is because of range compression, because in the original test files I have prescribed max PQ 10,000 nit for profile 8 and 4,000 nit for profile 5. I assumed why on a bright Sony LED TV any of the players can show all levels. But at the same time, on OLED and conventional LEDs, there is a level clipping on the same players. Depending on the player, it could be 72 to 78 for profile 8 and 32 for profile 5. I assumed that this is a consequence of the processing of the DV RPU itself. The point is that it tries to optimize the image to the capabilities of your TV. DV has 600 and 1000 nit optimization profiles. So if your TV says it can't make more than 600 to 700 nits, the optimization for 600 nits applies. Also, the DV standard says that if the image brightness is 4000 or higher, then mapping to 1000 nits can be applied. And the Sony ZD9, it's a very bright TV, with peak brightness under 2000 nits, it doesn't need this optimization. So it outputs levels as they are, correctly. But we couldn't get that on OLEDs. To test this theory, I took a file 014 DV black level in the 8 profile. It remind you prescribed the brightness of 10,000 nit. I made 2 modifications to this file. I made one version with PQ 1000 nits by Dovi script, just correcting the flux characteristics, more precisely the L6 metadata. For the second file, I've created a new CM version 2.9 and specified the maximum PQ value of 1000, although I made the CM itself in DaVinci in version 4.0. But I left the optimization for different levels of DV, 600 nit and 1000 nit, inside the PRU, and started testing them. The first one I had was the Amazon Fire TV Max. Started the 2 new files I made and the old original file. Started doing analysis in DaVinci, and it turned out that all 3 files brought out almost the same levels up to the value of 64. Turns out there is no problem. I thought, how so? Why the original now also shows correctly? Mixed up the files maybe. Relaunched the original and got the same effect. All the levels are in place. Then instead of Fire TV Max, I connected the old version of the stick Fire TV 4K. I run the original and it is displayed with cropping. But the files that I optimized for PQ 1000 are output as they should be. From this I concluded that Amazon for the new Fire TV Max released firmware that fixed this bug. And apparently recently, because I checked a couple of months ago, the bug was in place. Secondly, I confirmed my theory that level cropping is not a bug, it's the way DV works, its optimization for different capabilities of the TV set works. And third, as I understand, all these changes happened after adding CM4.0 to the Fire TV Max firmware. Now let's think about why they needed to fix the output of the lowest brightness levels in the first place. My guess is this: CM 2.9 was released long time ago, and back then LED TVs were widespread and they couldn't display black levels below 0.005. That's why DV was trying to output brightness levels instead of darker, and it was justified, because what's the point of squeezing the range down with DV optimization, to suppress peaks, to display the darkest shades, which LED matrix is physically unable to display. And now most films are made at 0.0005 and even 0.0001 nits. The optimization goes for OLED screens. And it turns out that theoretically we could lose these levels on OLED. But this is an assumption and theory. So we will wait for the real tests, which I will make for DV video. Next I ran these videos on a Dune Real Vision 4K, and it outputs similar to the old Fire TV Stick 4K. It turns out that the Dune is really lagging right now in terms of outputting the lower black levels correctly. I decided to test my theory with the 5 black level test profile as well. Actually, I did the same. I put PQ1000 for L6 parameters instead of PQ4000. Fire TV Max now outputs correctly and the unoptimized file in the fifth profile. It also outputs the reworked one perfectly. Here is how it was and how it is now. The old Fire TV Stick 4K was able to correctly display the optimized PQ1000. The Dune also handled the optimized file. More precisely, at the lowest levels there is a slight difference, but that we will figure it out already in the DV test. So, if the DV mastering is done with PQ1000 nit, no problems should appear on any player. But if the DV mastering is done with 4000 or 10,000, then it is possible that media players that don't have this defect fixed lose their dark details. And what about Zidu? After all, they boasted that with the new firmware they solved the problem of displaying black levels. Well, let me show you what they did. In fact, they did not do a very good job. Look, they were able to display the black levels at the bottom of the range, but they display them incorrectly, not the way they should be. They actually overdid it, and now the Zidu Z9X has no black, it's glowing. The problem is in both Profile 5 and Profile 8. Unfortunately, I can't check it in TV LED mode, because I do capturing in LLDV mode, but it seems to me there will be the same. What we have here, Amazon is great, they came up with the solution and fixed the problem. I hope they won't forget about the old version of the stick. Dune should try to fix it. I think the problem is that Realtek don't have CM4. Zidu, you need to check again what they did. Probably they pulled the levels not in an official way, but through some workaround maneuver. Although, of course, it's possible that the problem is in the capture, because I did not do the capture for Zidu, but Gabor did it with Zidu recommended settings and also with full output variant. But the result is the same. That's the end of the story. You can read about the rest when I do some more tests on DV. That's all, thanks for watching.